Voice of the Martyrs founder, Pastor Richard Wurmbrand, spent 14 years in Romanian prisons. After he was freed, he testified before the U.S. Congress. People disbelieved allegations that he and other imprisoned Christians had been abused by their communist captors. So Wurmbrand removed his shirt to expose the truth. Scars in his back revealed how he had been tortured with flaming hot pokers. He detailed his prison experience in the book Tortured for Christ. So is Wurmbrand's legacy one of Christian mistreatment and persecution? No. What I've learned from Pastor Wurmbrand and other Christian prisoners of the faith like Peter Yashik is that there is great victory in the fellowship of suffering. And from meeting with many former Christian prisoners all over the world over the years, I've learned about the importance of prayer for them, their families, and for suffering Christians around the world. And that's true fellowship in the suffering. On November 5th, American Christians in many churches around the world will remember them on the International Day of Prayer for the Persecuted Church. That's IDOP Sunday. Some churches will celebrate it a week later. Now, each year, VOM produces an IDOP video for sharing in churches and Bible studies. And I've got to tell you, I think this year's is the best they've ever produced. It's about Richard Wurmbrand's prison experience, and it's called Solitary Prayer. So watch until the end, because you'll never guess what he prayed for.
Ce faceți la plimbare? În vremea asta? Vrei copilul? Da. Oh, ce drăguție. Fetiță? Fetiță, nu?
On February 29th, 1948, a pastor was kidnapped from the streets of Romania. He would disappear for 14 years and endure horrific torture for his refusal to renounce Christ. And in the midst of this suffering, he witnessed the incredible power of Christ's love.
After being arrested, I spent the next 3 years in a solitary cell. It was enough to drive any man mad. The Martyr Savonarola wrote, "There are those who believe in God, and those who, just as sincerely, believe that they believe." Now I had to ask myself, did I believe in God?
That we are persecuted but not abandoned. So please do not abandon us.
My wife Sabina had also been arrested.
Deschide ușa! Sabina Wurmbrand.
My son Mihai, left orphan. Sabina would spend the next 18 months in a slave labor camp on the Danube.
Sabina! Sabina!
In these my darkest hours, my only hope was in prayer. Of course, in prison, prayer was forbidden. In spite of the beatings, I prayed every day. I prayed God would give me strength to endure. And of course, I prayed for my family. My feet were beaten so often and so brutally, I would never walk normally again. I'm sorry if a crocodile eats a man, but I cannot reproach the crocodile. I had learned the same can be said of my torturers. Communism had stripped them of any form of humanity, and only God's love could restore them.
Iar te rogi, mă? Iar te rogi? Ești tâmpit? Băiatul tău nu mai are casă, nevastă ta e arestată! Viața ta e distrusă, mă, băiatule, și tu te rogi în continuare la Dumnezeul al tău, care nici măcar n-are chip! Pentru ce căcat te mai rogi, mă? Pentru ce te mai rogi tu acum?
Mă rugam pentru tine.
I hated the sin, but never the sinner. And some we even won to Christ.
An amazing story, isn't it? Our thanks to the Voice of the Martyrs for allowing us to share that video with you. You can download a copy online at their website, persecution.com, or request a DVD. Show it in your churches. Because Jesus said in Matthew 5:43-44, "You've heard that it was said, 'Love your neighbor and hate your enemy.' But I tell you, love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you." So let's pray for the persecuted church and for those we normally wouldn't want to pray for. I guess for me, that means people like Kim Jong-un and Iran's Ayatollah Khomeini and others. But on this November 5th and every day, let's remember those in bonds as if bound with them and pray for the persecuted church. Well, that's it from the Global Lane this week. Until next week, be blessed.